All right, so the other topic that we want to cover in this chapter is the increment and decrement operators. And from the discussion with the while loop, you can see that we will need to increment or decrement the counter to, in some cases, to get the condition of the while loop to become unsatisfied, and this way we can get out of the while loop. So the process of incrementing or decrementing can be done easily using something like this, which we covered before. It's basically what it says, that the old number, in this case here or here, plus or minus 1, and this process here, after you are done with it, go and store it back in number. So this way you are updating number to be incremented by 1, or number to be decremented by 1. So this is the process of incrementing, and as we said here, you can actually provide, like Java provides a shortened way to do this, which makes it easier for you. Instead of repeating the same variable twice, you could just simply say, I would like to increment number by 1. So number plus plus is going to increment the number by 1. Number minus minus is going to decrement the number by 1. This is the postfix format of it. There is an equivalent prefix or another, I wouldn't say equivalent, another prefix format in which you say plus plus the number, minus minus the number. So to understand the difference between the two, we will need to think about it in terms of what in what situation you're using it. How are you using it? That's the question you need to ask yourself. So in general, the prefix in which you have something like plus plus n, something like this, that's a prefix. In this case, the variable will be incremented or decremented prior to the rest of the equation being evaluated. All right. In the postfix, so n minus minus, in this case, the variable will be incremented or decremented after the rest of the equation. So here, that's the key: prior to the rest or after the rest of the equation. Now, to understand this, we will need to see an example. So let's have a quick look at a BlueJ example for how this works. So here we have a code. It's a very simple class, and what I'm doing here is that I'm initializing an integer number variable called number here, and I'm initializing it to 4, and then I'm saying here number is, and I'm printing that, which should print 4, and then I'm telling you I'm going to increment the number by saying number plus plus, and then I'm going to increment the number again, which is plus plus number, and then I'm going to print the number is in both cases. So that's a very simple code, and if I run this, I'm expecting to see 4, then the first increment is going to make it 5, and then the second increment is going to make it 6. Perfect. So as you can see here, there's no there's no difference actually. There's no difference at all. And this is what we are saying here. If you notice here, the difference between the prefix and postfix is that it's prior to the rest of the equation. Notice here that we don't have an equation in these two scenarios. It's a number plus 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 number. Both of them are separate in a single line. It's not part of an equation. It's just an increment of the variable number, which is fine. Now, the difference would be clear if you involve this plus plus number or number plus plus in an equation. This is where the difference will be clear. So here I'm defining a new number, and I'm going to involve new number and number into an equation. So I'm going to say new number is basically the increment of number with a postfix. All right. So in this case, I'm going to print what the number is. All right. Or what is the new number? Sorry. Here as new number. Then what I'm going to do is to go back and say new number now is number plus plus, and then I try to print number and new number. So if you remember here, we have 4, 5, 6. So here, when I say new number is going to be plus plus number. All right. So we are operating on number, which is 6 at this point, and we are incrementing prefix, and then we are storing this in new number. So let's start with this part here. So here, compile There we go. So what we did here is that we said plus plus number, and new number is going to be plus plus number, which is 6 plus 1. It's equal to 7. Now, let's see here. Notice here that actually to make more sense of this, let's try to print the number also. So what is the number at this point? So here, compile. Number 7, new number is also 7. Perfect. Now, let's go and do the same, the second part, which is basically postfix, number plus plus. All right. So what do you think? It's 4, increment became 5, increment became 6, increment prefix became 7. Now increment postfix, and let's see what is going to be stored in number n. So if I print this, now that's the difference here. Being part of the equation, it tells you that number plus plus, as we said, postfix, what it means is that new number is going to be assigned the value in number first, then number is going to be incremented. And this is what we mean by the postfix. The variable will be incremented or decremented after the rest of the equation. So the rest of the equation is basically the assignment of number in new number. And that's why new number has the value 7. Then number got incremented by 1, which made it 8. And then when you print number and new number, you get 8 and 7. And that's the difference between prefix, postfix.